How's everybody doing? Welcome to the channel, Simplify Mobile Auto Repair. I got called out to this Chrysler 300 to conduct an engine performance diagnosis. The customer mentioned that the engine light came on, so we're going to take a look at it and see what's ailing this car. All right, so we're going to run a code scan on this vehicle, see what's going on. Sorry for the glare. All right, so we got a P0300, multiple cylinder misfire, and a P0128 thermostat rationality. That's what I'm going after as far as the engine performance. On the P0128, I know this issue was there due to the fact that there's no thermostat. The thermostat was never installed on this vehicle. I believe it had an overheating issue and they decided to just remove the thermostat. So that's why that P0128 is there. P0300, multiple cylinder misfire. So I was hoping to give us more direction, but let's take a look and see what we find. Take a look at freeze frame data, see if it gives us some type of direction. All right, so I see that the engine load was at 62% when this occurred, so it pretty much tells me that it was under load. Let's see the fuel trims, short term. Fuel trims look good. Engine RPM, 273. That doesn't jive with me. 273 RPM when this happened. Fuel level percentage, 0%. Vehicle speed. All right, so this really did not render a lot of information, at least usable that I can take a look. Let me take a look and see if I can maybe go into OBD2 and see if it detected anything there, or see if it recorded anything. All right, so P0300 was an open loop, so this tells me it was cold. 62% engine coolant temp. No, actually it was well, it still was cold, 141. Let's see if it, we're gonna look at the misfire and see which ones recorded any type of misfires. All right, so it looks like cylinder 1 at one point had 5 counts. So far as cylinder 1, Let's look at live data, see what we find. All right, let's turn this bad boy on. We're just gonna let this warm up. Okay, so I'm definitely see all the numbers are looking good, but I do feel a slight the engine feel like it's shaking a little. All right, let me go take a look at something else. All right, so we're gonna go back into the control unit, powertrain, control module. We're gonna look at misfire data and see if it gives us some type of direction. So cylinder 1, it shows 2. Yeah, give it a little bit of gas and see if it increases. All right, just went away. So now I'm gonna do is I'm gonna brake torque it, put it in drive, put the brakes on, and just give it a little bit of gas. Just stress it out and see if we see anything. Okay, nothing. Put in reverse. Put in drive. Oh, there we go. We got one hit. Let's see, put in drive. Reverse. Okay, so it's definitely cylinder number 1 that's recording a misfire. So I'm gonna go after that, and I'll bring you guys along and see what we find. All right, so this vehicle is exhibiting, based on the freeze frame data, it had a misfire upon startup. So I'm expecting either a vacuum leak or hopefully not the worst case scenario, which might be a leak in the head gasket that's dripping into that number 1 cylinder, and then upon startup it just misfires momentarily. But we're going to start the process and rule out a vacuum leak. So I got the smoke machine ready to go. This is bad boy. So we're going to connect it to the intake manifold and see what we find. Okay, so as you can see, there's already a leak over here. And that's from the ring right there. We're going to continue, keep looking. I'll bring you guys over here on this side. Like that seal for the EGR valve. It's leaking from there. And we're going to continue and see if we see any other leaks. And check all around the base of the intake. Alright, so the only vacuum leak I found is coming from the EGR tube that goes into the intake manifold. Everything else, as far as the intake manifold, the runners, there's no vacuum leaks anywhere. Checked on the back side as well. This is the only area, so we're gonna seal that. We're gonna take a look at the seal, fix that. But I know that's not gonna be the cause of a misfire, cylinder 1 misfire. So I'm gonna continue. We're gonna remove the intake manifold and take a look inside the cylinder. We just removed the intake manifold. This is the EGR tube seal. As you guys can see, completely torn. So we're gonna have to replace this to prevent that vacuum leak. All right, so I just pressurized the cooling system. Sorry about the glare. To about 14 psi. Since it is a misfire upon startup, we verified there is a vacuum leak, but I don't believe that's the source of the misfire for the number 1 cylinder. So I just, like I said, pressurized the cooling system. I'm gonna let it stay like this, see if it loses pressure, but what I'm focused is leaving it here for a couple of minutes so that I can take the number 1 spark plug out, put a scope down there, a camera, and see if there's any leaks whatsoever. Hopefully they're none, and then we'll continue our diagnosis. All right, so I just removed the number 1 spark plug. As you can tell, it's running nice and clean. You're looking for that coffee brown color, you know, and so far it looks good. So I'm gonna put a bore scope down there and see what I see. All right, so we're in the cylinder, and as you guys can tell, there's remnants of moisture in that between the piston and the cylinder wall. And you can see areas where it's been washed out. So it looks like there is some coolant seeping into the cylinder. Let's see if we can look at the other side. So as you can tell, there is definitely remnants of liquid. So it looks like the head gaskets are leaking. I'm going to continue and see what else we find. All right, so here I am looking at another cylinder, and as you guys can tell, it's definitely unfortunate for this customer, bad head gasket. I'm gonna move the vehicle. You can see the water in that cylinder. So you could replace ignition coils, spark plugs, and that's not gonna solve the misfire. Source of the misfire, unfortunately, especially on startup, is because these cylinders, the head gasket is bad and it just drips water into the cylinder overnight as it's cooling down or the system's depressurizing, and it ends up in the cylinder. And once you start it up, it shuts off that flame, creating that misfire till it fully warms up, and then it goes away. But as you guys can see, well, that's pretty much a wrap. Thank you for joining me on this engine diagnosis concerning a random misfire in a P0301. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment. Let me know how you would approach a P0300, a P0301 in the comment section. Definitely like to hear what your thoughts are. To the next one, you guys have a good one.